All right, good evening once again, everybody. How are we doing? Good evening, Richard, Adenike, Zainab, Abdullahi, Joy, Halima, Success. Good evening, Adeola, Adeyemo, and Jimo Latif. How are we doing? How are we doing? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Louder.
Fine.
Yes, good evening, ma.
Good evening. How are
Good
we
evening,
doing?
Blessing.
Hi, good
We are
evening. Good
fine.
evening.
We're doing okay.
Okay, all right. So let's just start the class properly. So in 1, 2, 3 minutes, if there's somebody that would, I will not mention name, just volunteer to do it. So just quickly do a recap of what we did in our last class, which was on Friday. So what's that thing that? Just do a recap of what we did in our last class, basically. So I'm waiting. Who's going first? 1, 2%. So who wants to go
Okay.
first?
Good evening,
All right.
everyone.
Good evening. Okay.
Okay, we talk about the Power BI services, Power BI, the web-based platform, the mobile app, the administration tools we can use, and also we talk about the data transformation, which is ETL,
Okay.
extracting, transforming, and loading. We talk about the data modeling too, how to create relationship, manage relationship, and we talk about visualization. Also, we talk about the DAX function and measures.
Okay.
That's and KPI too. That's what I can remember.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. Thank you. Who else wants to go next? Just one more person and we'll just continue from where we stopped. Who's going next? Anybody? I need a guy now, not a female. I need a male. So Abdullah, you are here. Don't be silent. Piers. Oluton Richard. You're a guy too. Please unmute yourself and speak up. Latif Jimo, you're a guy. Unmute yourself and speak
Good
up.
evening,
Okay. Good evening. Who is saying something?
Abdullah.
All right, Abdullah, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So
Good
last
evening.
class we did from the introduction to visualization down to talking about Power BI and its usefulness. So we talked about Power Query, we talked about ETL, so data modeling, DAX, charts, and their uses. So just a recap.
All right, thank you very much. So I can remind our last class we looked at how to import data from various sources, not all the sources, but at least some sources, flat files, the web, from PDF, how you can manually type in data into your Power BI yourself, Power Query yourself, how you can connect data or import or do a direct query from a SQL server. So we looked at that, and I think we looked at the Power BI interface, then we looked at Power Query interface as well, how to bring in this data. Then we looked at column profiling, how to preview your data. Yes, that was where we stopped column, checking out column statistics for our data in each column. So we'll continue from where we stopped, and I'll just share my screen now. So now one thing about Teams is that you can't use the chat. So it means if you have questions, you have to just signify by raising your hands using the icon, raise hands icon there. And once I see it, I will let you, unmute yourself and say something. So let me just start sharing my entire screen. All right. So can we see my screen, please? Can anybody see my screen? Are we together? Can we
Yes.
see?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'm just going to continue from where I stopped. So in our last class, we stopped where we're trying to do column profiling. So I'm currently not using the system that I used in the last class. I'm using a new system. So I had to bring in the data again. Um, so now this first
Sorry, ma, I
data,
can't see your screen
you
now.
can't see my screen.
Yes, ma, I
Who is
can't
that?
see it.
Who is that?
This Adela, ma, Adela.
Oh, if
Okay,
Adela is
I'm
not
seeing
seeing
it
it,
now.
okay, that should be your network.
Thank you.
Once the screen is lagging at your end, is your network because Teams requires strong network. Okay, so like I was saying, I had to bring this data again into this new system. So I just brought in this data, right? And we don't have it's actually promoted, it changed the data type, but not correctly. So I will try to change the data type now for each of the of the columns here. But before doing that, let's just inspect each columns here and make sure they are correct and they're where they should be before changing the data type. So we have dates here, we have order ID, we have the customer name, we have the region. Now, what do you notice about the region? Of course, it's showing east, north, west like that. But there's something odd about the region. What do you think is odd about it? What should it? How should it look?
The
Someone should.
bracket.
Yeah, so it means we have to remove from the brackets. Okay, that's one. Then when I come to this period category, you notice something. You are seeing that we have details separated by commas here: clothing, comma jeans, clothing, comma jeans, furniture, comma table. So it's looking like this table is a combination of both category and product itself. So we might have to split this into two tables where you have a table for product category and a table for product itself. Then I think the quantity is okay, price, then total sales. So that's all. So let's start with this one for region. I want to extract the regions from this one here, from the bracket. So how do I do that? Select the column you want to work with. Once you select the column you want to work with, come to your transform tab. In your transform tab, inside the text column group, you would see a button called extract. So click on that drop down button for extract. Then we have different options there. There's, do you want to extract based on length? So it means that if I should click on length, that's, let's say I want to extract three letters, or based on number of characters. Okay, I want to, yeah, 5 characters or 4 characters. But once I click on length, it will allow me to input the number of characters I want to extract. For first characters, you to allow you to specify the number of characters you want to extract from the, from the left hand side. Last characters is going to be from the right hand side. Then range, if you want to be, if it's within the range. Then we have uh, text before delimiter. So now remember I said delimiters, these are anything that can separate your data, right? So text before delimiter. If I use text before delimiter, our first delimiter here is open bracket, and we don't have any text in front of this one, right? Then we have text after delimiter. So let's see. But the correct option to use here now is text between the because our delimiters here are open brackets and close bracket. So I'm going to select this option. I'll click on this option. Then it's going to ask me this dialog box for text between delimiter pops and say, okay, what's going to be your start delimiter? Then what's your end delimiter? My start delimiter is open bracket and my end delimiter is close bracket. Then I'm going to hit OK, and that will extract that text from it. Then let's come to this place, product category. We want to split into two columns. So I'm going to use the option split column. You can also find this option as well to here in the home tab. You would see it here in your transform group. You see split column, but I'll go with the one in transform. You can use any one actually. So I'll come here, click on the drop down button. We have various options as well. There's by delimiter, which we're going to be using now. Then there is by number of characters. So if you want to split into two columns based on number of characters, you can select this. By position, select this. By lowercase to uppercase. Now, when do you use this lowercase to uppercase? If data is a combination of both capital letter and small letters, you want to split that into two separate columns. Then by uppercase, lowercase, if the data is a combination of uppercase to lowercase, then by digit to non-digit, if your data is a combination of number and text. For example, we are saying 2023 electronics, 2023 furniture. So you know that data is a combination of both number and text. So you want to use this option. Then by non-digit to digit, you'd see that, for example, your data is now the other way around. It's now showing electronics 2023, electronics 2024, electronics 2025. You know, it is combination of both text and numbers, and you want to go with this option. But in our case, we are dealing with the limiter because the limiter here is comma. Separating the data here is comma. So I select the limiter, and this dialog box pops up. Sometimes by default, you should just pick the correct delimiter. And sometimes, if it's unable to pick it, you will have to be the one to come straight down by coming to click the drop down button, then come here and select custom. So with custom, you can now input the delimiter you can see separating the data. But it already helped us pick it because we know it's comma, and it was like we know it's comma that it's separating the data in this column. So I'll select that. Now we have different options here. We have different options. They split at leftmost delimiter, they split at rightmost delimiter, they split at each occurrence of the delimiter. So now leftmost delimiter means that, let's assume we had like 3 different data here and we have 2 commas in this column. Splitting by leftmost is going to split this So now let's assume we have clothing, jeans, comma, um, clothing, jeans, comma, red jeans, or there's no red jeans, blue jeans, clothing, jeans, blue jeans, comma, blue jeans. If we say leftmost delimiter, it's only going to split away the clothing part from other part. If you click on rightmost delimiter, it's going to split from the right hand side. That it will split out the colors of the jeans from the remaining part of the data. But each occurrence of the delimiter is saying that anywhere you see comma, split the data. Leftmost will split commas on the left hand side. Rightmost would split commas on the right hand side. But each occurrence is anywhere comma appears to split it. So I'm going to go with this third option and I'm going to hit OK. And once I click on OK, you can see we have that column has been split into two. So I'm going to rename this by double clicking on this now. Double click and I'll say, okay, this is my product category. Hit enter. This is product name. So I'll change the category to name. And I'm going to hit enter. So now I think we are good. We've done the splitting. So I'll go back and let's deal with the data type. So come here, click on this one and come here, select dates. Then what encounter a problem here? Let's see. It didn't happen like that on my other system, and that's because there was a change in the region. So let me click on this. So when I click on date, I don't know, some of us might encounter this problem as well, depending on the setting on your system. So now, when I change to date, we all know that what is here is date, right? But now I selected date, but we're having problem. We are seeing that we have errors. We are seeing we have error here. Some, then others are error. So what's the problem? What's the reason why we're having error? So I'll come here, I'll click on that error to know why we have error. Now you notice something about the lines. Remember I was saying something about if the line is all teal, it means we have valid data in that column. But once they are seeing red, there's error. We are seeing there's error or there's duplicate in that, or there's empty cells in that column. So I'm going to click on this error to know what the error is. Why do we have error? So I'll click on this error. So once I click on the error, then we have this message says data format error. We couldn't pass the input provided as date value. Details is 13/01/2024. They couldn't pass this. You can see this. This is definitely the format of day, month, and year. Day, month, and year. So let's go back. I'll come here and cancel this step. I would also cancel this step. So what this means is that by default now, the date is looking at it as it's trying to format as use the years format, that is month, day, and year. But because my data is not in that format, so it brought out error. So how do I fix this? This is where using locale comes in. Remember I was saying it in our last class, how you change the data type based on location. So I'll come here and I won't just click on date straight up. I'll come here and say using locale. So as I click on using locale, then let's wait for it. This pops up. So first thing first, select the data type. We want it to be date. So I'll come and select date. Currently, you see that the locale is on United States, English United States. Because I know that my data type, the kind of data there is in the format of day, month, and year. I would click on the drop down button. Then I'll go and select English United Kingdom or English Nigeria, whichever one you see. It's because United Kingdom and Nigeria uses the same date format. So I'll go with United Kingdom. And that would have the correct date format. Then I'll hit OK. So you can see we have correct formatted this thing now, column. Now you can face problems like this if your data is coming from different regions. Oftentimes is if your data is using US format and you're working with a system that the format is UK format, so you definitely face this problem. So this is how you can fix it. Another way you can fix this kind of problem that has to do with dates, time zone, and everything is by when you come to your file, I think options and settings, options, then you go straight to with yeah, so you go straight to regional settings. So you can see by default mine is on United States. So that is trying to change all the data that any dates of data I bring in to be United States. So you can just come here and change it to the location of the data you're working with, and that will fix the problem for this particular file you're working on. Another way you can solve this problem again is if you change the region of the date on your system. That would also fix the problem. So we are done with that. Order ID is whole number, so good. Customer name ABC, that's text, good. Region text, product category, we are okay. Product name, quantity, unit price, and total sales. So we are fine. Good. We've done that. So I'll come here now. Let's look at this other one that we have here. Um, the read one for region. So now someone was asking our last class how that, I think it was Ayomi that was asking that for other ones their headers were promoted, but some the headers was not promoted. So you could see here that our column titles that is meant to be headers here are on the first row. So how do I promote them from being on the first row to be our column headers? To get this result, all I have to do is to, you know, go to my home tab. Then in my home tab, in the transform group, you will see the option use first row as header. You will see it there. Wait, can we hear me?
Yes, ma'am. But
Someone's
some
mic
people that are
is.
raising up their hands.
What do you say?
I said there are some people that are raising up their hands.
Oh, sorry. Adenike, I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at my
Okay,
screen.
thank you. Yeah, sorry, and I don't want to distract. That's why I don't
No,
want
no
to
problem.
interrupt. Please, that date, that global of 18, my network hang. I did not see the process.
Okay,
I did
okay,
not.
okay. Let me go back. No problem. No problem. Let me go back.
Yes.
All right, so let me go back to the one for dates. I'll change. Okay. All right. So now, um, give me 1 minute. Let me change. I've deleted the step for this. All right. So now I want to change the data type. Remember when I selected date, it changed some and it was showing error for the rest. That is because this Power BI on my system, the region setting for it is United States. But the data I'm bringing in is it has the UK format, that is the day, month, and year format. Because my Power BI is having the region setting United States, so it's trying to change it to US format. And that's why we are having error here. How do you read this error? When you click on this error now, it will show you the error that's the reason why we have that error. I mean, we couldn't pass the input provided as date value, and this is it. So it's already telling us this is a month, a year, day, a year, sorry, a day, month, and year format. And it's supposed to be month, day, and year. That's why it's giving us error. So let me cancel this. Yeah. So how do you fix this kind of error that has to do with location? Because obviously what's causing the problem now is because of the data is coming from a different location. So I'm going to cancel this. I'll come back. I'll click on using locale because I want to change the data type based on location. I'll click on using locale. So once I click on using locale, this dialog box pops up and it says, okay, um, first, what's the data type? It's a date. So I select date, then locale. What location? Remember, I said by default my own Power BI is United States, and I know that my data is having the UK format. So I'll click on the drop down button, then go select UK format, English United Kingdom, or you can select English Nigeria. So you can see, and I'll hit OK, and that will fix the problem. So that's that. So maybe when you're watching a recorded session, you watch the remaining parts on how to change using the settings, the options and settings, as well as your on your system. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Did you get that, Nadinike? Did you get that?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the next thing we looked at how to split, we looked at how to um so to promote headers, it's just come here to your home tab for this one. So anytime you bring in your data and you're seeing your headers on the first row, just click on your home tab, then come to this place in your transform group. You see use first row as headers option. Click on the drop down button. The drop down button. Okay, give me 1 minute. Click on the drop down button and select the option use first row as headers. Another way you can see this button is click on this table icon here beside here where you have all the numbering. Click on it and you see some options that we have different options. Use fresh row as headers, different options to work with, keep top rows, keep bottom rows, and everything. So you can see it here. So that's that. Now I want to show us how to merge queries. What do my merging queries? Merging queries just basically you joining tables together, joining tables together. So I checked my Power BI service table, Power BI practice sales table. I mean, I can see the date, order ID, customer name, region. But now we have a table for region, but we don't know the region manager. So what I want to do is to just like um VLOOKUP in Excel, how that you can draw data from one table to another table using the VLOOKUP function. What I want to do now is to draw the region manager name into this table based on the region column that we have here. The only way I can achieve this result is by using the feature merge queries in Power Query. So how do I do that? So I'll come here, select this Power BI practice use as my first table. So once I select that, then here in my transform, here in my home tab, in the combine group, you see the feature merge queries. So once I hover around this now, you see it says merge this query with another query in this file. So I click on the drop down button. We have two options. There is merge queries and there is merge queries as new. So please, sorry, if you want to ask a question, I'm currently not seeing your names on my screen to know if you're raising your hands or anything. Just say excuse me and I'll allow you to say ask your question. I'm not seeing your names now. I'm only seeing my screen. So we have two options. There's merge queries and there's merge queries as new. So for merge query is basically saying, do you want to merge this second table directly to this first one? Then merge query as new is saying, do you want to just create a separate query by combining these two together? So I'll go with the second one because I want us to see the difference between when we have it separately. So I would click on merge queries as new. So once I click on merge queries as new, we have this dialog box that pops up and it's saying, okay, you want to combine this Power BI practice sales for month one with what table? So I'm going to come here, select the table I want to merge it with. I want to merge it with the regions. Now, for VLOOKUP, right? There's something called lookup value. Lookup value is that value that links table one to table two. That is what you use to draw out information from one table into the other table. And in our case here, what combines this table and this table together is the region. You can find region here. You can also find region here. That's the only thing that can come because we want to use based on region, we want to draw in this region manager into this table. So when you look at this join kind, we have, if I click on the drop down button now, we have different options. There's left outer join, there's right outer join, there's full outer join, there's inner join, then we have left anti and we have right anti. So I would explain these first four because are the important ones you need to know. The one, of course, the one we have to use is just left outer, but let me explain the remaining ones so you can understand. So when we say left outer join, so let me explain using this. Okay, give me 1 minute. Can we still see my screen? And are we still with me? Can we hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. So now
Yes.
when we say left outer join, we did set theory in school, right? A intersection B, A union B, those things. You know how Venn diagram used to be. Yes. So when we say left join, what left join means is return everything on the left table, then whatsoever matches is on the right table, combine it with it. So for example, now look at these tables that we have here. We have employee ID, we have department details, sorry, employee details and department details table. With the help of, let's say when we say left join, what's common between these two tables? It is the department ID. We have department ID, we have department ID here. Based on this department ID, I want to combine these two tables together. So when we say left join will return everything on the employee details table. Then whatsoever matches it based on that ID, department ID, it combines. So look at the ID. On the left table, we have 101, 103, 102, 101, 104. So basically, we have ID from 101 to 104. So it's going to return everything. you see on this table, it's going to return everything 101, 102, 103, 104. On our right table, that's the department details, we have 101, 102, 103, and 105. 105. So it's going to return any record that has ID 101 will be returned, 103 will be returned, 102 will be returned, 101 will be returned, 104, because it's on the left table, will be returned. But 105 would not be returned because we don't have anybody with the ID 105 on this employee details
I
table.
can't see your screen, Bao. I don't know if I'm
You
the only
can't,
one.
I
you
can see
can't
your
see my,
screen. I guess it's your network.
it's
Can see your
network.
Okay, it's
screen.
my network.
Yes,
Okay,
if you
I'll
can't
check.
see my
Yes,
screen, it's your network. It's your network,
Okay, I
please.
think I can see now. All right, thank you.
Okay. So now, so what's left join say? What left join is saying return everything on the left table, whatsoever matches it based on the ID, common ID, combine it with it from the right table. So that's why the results here is just only showing us 101, 103, 102, 101, 104. Even if there's no 104 here, so you can see it left the place blank because we don't have anybody with 104 on this right table. Then right join is saying return everything on the right table, then whatever matches it based on the common column from the left table, merge it with it. So here you can see we have 101, 102, 103, 105. It will return everything on the right table. That's why when you see the ID here, you're seeing 101, 102, 103, then 105. You can't see 104 because 104 is on the right table, on the left table, I mean. So now it merges everything on the right table with whatever matches it from the left table. Then we have inner join. Inner join is just that which is common between table A and table B. And what's common? There's 101 here, there's 101 here, there's 103, there's 103, there's 102, there's 102, there's 104, no 104 here. So the only thing that is common between both tables is 101, 102, 103. So based on these three IDs, it will draw the informations. Anybody having that ID will match them together and bring results for them. Then we have full outer join. Full outer is basically saying everything on the left table combined with the right table, join them together. So you can see here our result is saying we have 104. It returned 104, which is coming from the left table, even if we didn't have any record of it on the right table. Then for 105, we have 105. We return everything for one that's coming from the right table, even if we did not have any record of it in the left table. He still returned it. So that's for full outer join. So let's go back to Power BI. So in our own case, you're working with left outer join because we wanted to return everything on this table. So remember, your first table is your left table. So we wanted to return everything from the Power BI sales, then combine with everything that matches based on the region from the right table. And you can see here, you're seeing selection matches 30 of 30 rows. So now note, if it's showing you selection 24 of 30, there's a problem. It has to be the same value. 30 of 30, 20 of 20, 30 of 30, like that. Not that you're seeing 24 of 30, 26 of 30. There's a problem. So I'm going to hit OK. And we have a new query, a new table that is a combination of this one and this one. So we have it here. Now, but you can't
Excuse
see
me,
it
ma.
yet. Ma? Okay.
Yeah. Please, you said in the case where we have, for example, let's say 24 out of 30 rows. So how could we rectify that issue?
Who is speaking, please? Sorry. I mean,
Zainab.
okay. So in a situation whereby you are having 24 of 30 rows, so it shows you the problem. That is a problem actually. And you have to check the reason what the problem is. Maybe you might have to use a different join to fix the problem. So for example, you're trying to merge the data. I think it also boils down to what exactly you want to see. If you want to return everything from your left table and combine with whatever matches it on the right table, you know that okay, I have to use the left join to do that. If you want to return everything from the right table, everything from the right table and combine whatever matches on the left table, then you have to know okay, this kind of join I should use. But if you are now seeing 25 of 30 not complete, then you have to check it. So if after you've checked the data and you see that okay, I think this should not still affect my work, then you can go ahead with it. But it's a problem. If it will not affect your work, if it okay, what is not if it's showing 25 of 30, so it simply means that it's not getting data for a particular record on the other table. That is what it means. So if after you cross check and you said, okay, that data that is not checking, is not getting, is not a problem, will not affect your work, then just go ahead and leave it. Do you get?
All right, thank you.
All right. So now, so I have this here, Power BI practice region. For region, you're not seeing anything now. How do I expand this? Now you check the right hand side. There's a node at the right hand side. So I'll click on that node at the right hand side. I want to expand this now. Because I already have region on this table, you can see there's region here already. I have region here. I don't have to bring in region. I will only bring in the region manager column. So I will uncheck all and check region manager. Then we have use original column name as prefixed. So what this means is that you're going to be seeing the name of that column as Power BI practice region dot region manager. I don't want it to be that way. So I will uncheck this box and I'll hit OK. Then it's going to bring this in. You can see how that we've combined this month sales with the region table together. And now you can now say, okay, oh, who is the region manager for? I think the first region is East. We know that the region manager for East is Charlie. Oh, who is for North? We know North is Alice. So based on that common column, the region, we now drew out information for the manager, and that's it. All right, so I'm just going to name this full sales. So let's just keep that. So that's what we call merging. You joining two queries together, two tables together. So now we have appending. Appending
Hello,
is hello, hi.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, while joining your tables,
Yeah.
can you use like either of the rows, either of the columns? I mean, the name and the region. What happens if you use the region to join on? I don't know if you're understanding.
I don't understand. Please explain properly.
Or rather, how do you choose a column to join on the two tables? Like when I want to join the first table and the second table,
Okay.
so how do I choose a row as an anchor, sort of, to join it
Okay,
to the
okay. So
table?
you have to look at what's common between those tables. That thing that is common, the column common between those tables will serve as a link. For example, now here on this table we have region. This we have region. We want to bring in region manager into this table. So of course you can see we have region and just region manager. The only column common between this table and this table is region. Do you understand? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. Thank
It's region. So
Yeah,
region
I
is that
can.
common column. Region is like the lookup, it's a lookup column. So that's what we're going to draw. We're going to use to combine, link both tables together. Do you get me now?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so that's for merging. Now we have appending. Appending query has to do with you stacking table on top of each other. So for example, let's say you have a data for 2020 and you have for 2021. It's the same record. Then you want to combine them together. Not like merging now, but you want to stack them on top of each other so you can have a full record, right? To do this, we use append query. When it comes to append query, it has rules. Before you can append your query, your data must have the same column structure. It must have the same data type. The arrangement of a column must be the same thing. So let me bring in the data I want to match. So I want to append now. Sorry, I want to append. I think so. Let me bring in the data. Yeah, sales month two. Yeah, so this is for February. Let me just hit OK. All right, so this is for February. This first one here is for January. This one here is for February. So I want to append them together. And I said, if you want to append, number one, your data must be of the same column structure. It must be of the same column structure, right? When I say column structure, the same number of columns, you must have the same number of columns, the arrangement must be the same thing. So if this one, check here, don't forget at this bottom, you get to see the records of your column. You can see it's showing 9 columns, 20 rows, 9 columns, 20 rows. So if this one is 9 columns, this one must also be 9 columns. The arrangement will be the same thing. If date is here, date must be the first thing here. If order ID is the next one, order ID must be the same thing, the same arrangement of column. Then the last thing is data type. It must be the same thing. if here is the header doesn't have to be the same thing as long as the data in that column is the same thing. If this one is date, here it must also be date. But you can see here now it's showing ABC. We have to change this. If other ID here is text, it must also be the same thing here. If customer name is text, it must also be the same thing. So you must have the same data type. So how do I fix this? So come here, check the first table you want to append. I can see dates for order ID. Let me change this order ID to, even if I like my ID to be text, but let's change it to whole number because it's whole number that is here. Whole number. We have customer name, we have region, product category, product name, quantity, unit price, and total sales. So let's check this one. So we have date. Our date is not showing as date. So I have to change it to date using locale. So I'll come here using locale. Dates, then United Kingdom. And I hit OK. So we have this. Then I have my order ID. I have customer name. I have region, product category, product name. I have quantity. I have unit price. I have total sales. So correct. Now, how do I append them? Select the first table you want to be on the top. So once you do that, stay in this home tab. In your combined group, you would see the append queries option. Click on the drop down button, and we have two options. Still saying, do you want to append queries directly, or you want to append the query as new? That means combine those together as a separate query. So I'll select this. I'll select this. So once I select that, we have this append query dialog box that appears. So it's okay. You want to concatenate rows from two tables into a single table. Do you want to? How many tables do you have? Do you have two tables or more than two? So in our case, we have just two tables. If you have three tables, select three or more, and you can now start adding a click and add. But we have two tables, so I'll leave it at two. So this is your first table. So what's your second table? This is my second table. So this is my second table, and I'm going to hit OK. So once I hit OK, you can see we have this append table. So okay. So if you see this now, it has combined the data together. So you're now seeing the one for January combined with the one for February. Are we together? Can we hear me? So you can now see we have
Yes,
50
ma'am.
rows, 9 columns, 50 rows. Before
Yes.
we had 30 rows from month one and 20 rows from month two, but all combined together now we have 50 rows altogether. So this is how appending works. So if you want to append data together, you use that. Okay, so all right. So now the next thing I'm going to show us now is how to add columns. So look at how to add custom column, index column, conditional column in our table. All right, so what is custom column first? So custom column is that column that you add to your data based on a custom formula. You can see it here, say create a new column in this table based on a custom formula. So for example, now, let's say for this, okay, we have a total sales column. Let me delete this total sales column. All right, click, and I'm going to delete it. The remove. So let's say I want to add a revenue column. To get revenue is always quantity multiplied by price. So I want to add that in. How do I add this in? Just come here to your add column. So once you come to add column, come here and click on custom column. Once I click on custom column, this dialog box pops up and it says, okay, you want to add column. So what's going to be the column name? I'm going to say the column name is going to be revenue. Then the next one here. So what's the formula? I'm going to be multiplying my quantity column by my unit price column. So is it that you come here and type it, or just come here, then select quantity, hit insert. To multiply is shift 8 as usual, shift 8. then or double click anyone, either select and click or double click. So you can say I'm multiplying quantity by unit price to get revenue. So if there's an error in your formula, to let you know, okay, we have error, but now you can see say no syntax error have been detected. So I'll hit OK, and we have this. We have a new column called revenue based on the multiplication of quantity and unit price. So custom columns are columns that are created based on a custom formula. You can perform any aggregation, either subtract, add, multiply. You can do that there. So we have this one. Now let's look at conditional column. So what's conditional column? Conditional column is that column that you add in to your table based on a given criteria or a given condition. For example, so let's say that I want to do I want to categorize the quantity into, for everyone that purchase a single quantity, just one quantity, categorize them to be under single item, two categorized to be under double item, above two multiple item. That is how I want the quantity to be. So I'm going to create a new column called quantity type based on the quantity column here, because the condition is that for every quantity that is equal to 1, categorized as single item, quantity equal to 2, categorized as double item, quantity greater than 2, categorized as multiple item. So select this column. I'll come here and click on conditional column. So once I click conditional column, I have this dialog box. Okay. You want to add the conditional column, right? So first thing first, what's the column name? I'll say, okay, my column name is going to be called QTY type, that is quantity type. Good. So it's going to ask you, what column do you want to work with? I want to work with the quantity column. So select quantity. All right. So what kind of operator? We have different operators. You can say, okay, I want to use equals, does not equal, is greater than or equal to, is less than, it says not equal to. I'm going to be equal because my condition is that every column, every item or quantity that is equal to 1 should be categorized as single item. Now we have here this option, quantity equals what? So sometimes it could be text. Your value could be number as well. That's why I saying ABC 1, 2, 3. So I'll type in 1. Then come here. So what's the output? So you're saying that for every quantity that is equal to 1, so what should be the output? Single item. Single item. Okay. Then I want to add clause because we have 3 conditions. Second one is that for quantity that is equal to 2, equals to 2, categorized as double item. So double item. Then otherwise, else, if it's not single, if it's not double, what should it be? Otherwise, multiple item. Then I'm going to hit OK. So we'll have a new, so you can see here, we have a new column here. This is a conditional column. So I'm going to change the type from ABC123 to text. Based on this quantity column, we're able to generate another column. Are we together? Can we still hear me? Can we still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
So we
Wow.
have this. All right. Now that's for custom column. Then let's look at index column. So what's index column? Index column is that column that just used for creating index in your data. And sometimes index column can serve as a primary key for our table. At the same time, it can serve as a column for sorting your data. So let's assume that, okay, with this, I think this table has a primary key column, which is the order ID. So it has a primary key column. So let's assume that if I want to see the last data on this table, the last record on this table, if I try to use sort, it might not really sort it well, or it might not be the last data. But with the help of index column, I can see the last data, the last record on my table. So how do I add in this index column? I'll come here and click on index column. So we have 3 options. There's from 0 or from 1, or you want to customize it. Let's go with from 1. So I click on from 1. It's going to create an index. It should just only assign row number to your table. That's what it will do. So that's done this now. I can easily say, okay, let me just click here. Then I'll say sort. Sort in the sense I want to see the last record. And I can see with the help of this, I would see the last record. Oh, this is the last record. 30, 20, Mary Jones from that. Can see. We have this last record like this. We have it. All right. So can we hear me? Are we still with me? Are we still with
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
good.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now before we continue, let's look at this one, this region here. You can see that this line is not full till. You can see it's showing valid, 45% valid, sorry, 90% valid. That is for the, we only have 45 that is valid, 0 error. Then we have 5 that are empty. So how do you fix this kind of problem? How do you do this? And this is how do you handle missing values? So missing values can be handled in different ways, in different ways. Sometimes it's not ideal that you remove all missing data from your from your table. So sometimes you could handle missing values by filling them yourself, filling them down if you are sure that okay, or you just open your file in your Microsoft Excel and input the value that is correct or that matches the person that is there for your um on your table. So here in this in our case here, this region. So let's assume that um let's assume that if I fill this record down, I'm going to have the result is going to be accurate. It's going to be correct. For example, I know that James, Jude, and Daniel Green are both in the East. I know that Daniel Green, I can see Daniel Green here is in the West. Daniel Green, Daniel Brown, Peter Brown, they are both in the West. Then I know John Smith too is in the West as well. And I know this Daniel
I
Green here. Where
can
are
as
Daniel
well.
Green here?
Try to
Can you
cut
hear
it
me?
short. Yes, I can. So I can see that Daniel Green is also in South, not only in
Yes.
West.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in South, not in West as
Yeah,
well. So
that's
we
true.
have this. Yeah. So what do we in this case? I want to do something called fill down. So I can fill records from the top down to the bottom. So how do I do this? So I come here, select the region. So once I select the region, I'll come here to my transform tab. So in my transform tab, there's option called fill. So I'll click on the button for fill. Then we have fill down and fill up. So like I said, let's assume that I'm sure that once I fill down, I'm filling the accurate values for each of the persons that are there. So if I click on fill down, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to fill. What fill down will do on the norms is to just this east to fill this with east as well. It will fill this with west. It will fill this with west as well. Fill this with north. So how do I achieve this? Right? I've used the fill down option, it's not working. That is because every empty cells in Power BI, in Power Query like this, Power BI doesn't see them as empty cells. It sees them as blank text blank text strings. So the only time you can see a cell empty is if it contains the value null. So null, any cell coding the value null is assumed to be empty. So how do I'll first fill every empty cells here with the value null to tell Power BI that these cells are actually empty. I'll select this and I'll come here to replace. Yeah, I'll come to replace. Replace, you can use replace to replace and find anything you want to do. So I'll come here and select replace values. So selecting replace value. So what do you want to find? Don't put, since it's blank, I won't put anything here. I'll come here to replace with. So what do you want to replace those blanks with? Replace them with null, small letter null, null, and I'm going to hit OK. So every empty cells now here is replaced with null. Now this is when Power Query recognizes those empty cells as empty. Before it was seeing them as blank text string, as I didn't fill anything in it. So I come here back to fill. I'm going to click fill down, and when I click fill down, so what do you notice? Are you with me?
Filled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Automatically
See,
filled the blank
see,
cells.
Yes,
yeah.
replaced.
See, it fills the record. If that is if you are sure that those persons, that is, you can't just fill records for people like that. If you're not sure, you have to start going, okay, check, or from where you get your data from, okay, this particular person, what region is it from? Then you start filling them yourself, start putting the correct values for them, for those persons. So that's how, but I'm not showing you how you can use the fill up and the fill down feature in. So you can see here too, we have another option for fill up. Still the same thing. What for fill up, it's just fill values from. Let me cancel this. Fill up would fill values from bottom to top. So instead of filling east here, it's going to fill west. It's going to fill from the bottom to the top like this. So you instead of north to be here, it's going to be south, north, north, west. So if I come here and click on fill up now, that's what's going to happen. Fill up. All right. So now that's that on how to add our index column and also how to use the fill up and the fill down feature. Okay, so now let's quickly look at the option for this format. So let's say you want to you have a data that is in, you want to convert to lowercase. Come here, come to format to change everything to lowercase. Oh, not to lowercase to uppercase. Select uppercase. So this is just for formatting. You know how your proper upper function in Excel, lower function, and how you use them to change your text format. That's how these ones work here. Capitalize each word. This is the actual one. So these are options you can work with in Power Query. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show us is pivoting and non-pivoting. Then from there, okay, we'll look at group by feature and okay, so let's go on. So let's start with, yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening. Someone said hello just now. Someone, hello, who's there? Okay, so I guess the person is not talking to me. All right. Okay, so we have this. Now let's bring in our data for pivot and non-pivoting. So I'll come here to new source. I'll go to text/csv. Is that it? Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. So what I want to do now, right, is I want to unpivot this sheet in such a way that we're going to have all our records. It's going to show all these regions here. They would serve as column headers, right? So we now have quantity stored for each of them. What do I mean? Let me quickly do it now. So I'll come here and okay. Um, just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So this is how should have been how it should come before. So this is what I did here now is just pivot the column. So you can see here that we have north region, they have this, you have central region, we have all these are their attributes of the entity region. We have this way. So what I want to do is now is to bring it back to its original form where we have all the data, all this and all this attribute here will be in a single column. Then would have another column for the quantity sold. Maybe I should have just shown us how to normalize our data before looking at the second rule of normalization. Okay, but let's just do this. I will explain again later when we're looking at normalization. For example, the second rule of normalization states that every attribute must have, not second rule, first rule, every attribute must have or value must have its own column. So all these you are seeing here are called attributes of the entity region. They're not meant to be on rows like these, are meant to be in a column. So what I'm going to do now is to pivot it back to bring it back to its initial form, its initial state. There are times that sometimes I don't know if you encounter a problem like that. I have where my data set is showing date as the column header. You're seeing date. So I'm going to give you an assignment after this class that you work against next class. You would see how useful pivot and unpivoting is. So there's a data that I've worked with that had dates as column header. So you'll be seeing over 162 records, 162 columns, and you're wondering why do we have this amount of columns of data? What you do in that case is to just, unpivot that data so it would work well. So in this case, how do I bring this back? I'm going to select And let's do on pivot columns. And now we have this back. Are you with me? Can we hear me?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
anybody get what I just did? Did anybody get what I did here?
Yes.
Did anybody
Yes.
get what I did here?
Yes.
Good. I'm going to change this now from attributes to regions. So what I did was just change it from what it was. It was having those not region, everything as the header before. So I brought them back to be in a single column, to be on the rows, and I have at my another column for all the quantities sold. So since this is having the title region, I have to just remove all this region here. I'll just come here. I'll come to replace values. Come here, select replace values, and I'll change this value to find. I'm finding region. I'm finding region. Region. What do you want to replace region with? Nothing. So that will remove. Yeah. So this makes sense. So imagine if you're having a record where you're seeing dates as the column header. So you know what you should do is just unpivot it. Select those columns that are having dates as headers, then click on unpivot then, and to bring all the dates back to a single column to bring them back on the row, and you have the data. So I'll give you an assignment exactly where you use the feature either pivot or unpivot, so you know which one to use. Okay, so that's that. Now let's look at group by feature. Then from group by, we'll look at normalization, and then we'll just move straight to our Power BI front end for DAX. So what's the Power BI group by feature? What is it used for? So this group by function is basically used to group your rows in a table based on values in a currently selected column. For example, so let's say I want to know the total quantity sold for each of this region here. Quantity sold for the region from either north, central, south. I want to know the quantity sold for that region alone. Using this, all I have to do is just select this group by feature option here. So once I did that, I have this, there's basic and advanced. Let's work with basic first. So it's saying, okay, you want to group region by what? I want to group region by, so I'll come here. What's going to be the column name? Let me give it total quantity sold, QTY sold. All right. So the second one is, what is the operation? Because I want to find total, so it's sum. So you can see we have different operations. There's average, there's median, there's mean, there's max, there's count rows, like that. So I'll go with sum. Then I'll come here. Okay, what column do you want to sum? I want to sum the quantity column. So I'm going to hit OK. And what you see. So one thing about using the group by feature is that no matter the number of columns you have, no matter how long, it will just still group everything to have those columns you selected. It will group it. So if you have 5 columns, it will only work with the 2 columns that you're working with. So as I have seen, results for just region and total quantity sold alone. So be sure that you want to group that table because you will lose other columns once you group it. Only if you try to undo it. So you can see it's group data based on region. So I can see that, okay, in North region, we sold 56 items. In Central, we sold 83 items. In South, we sold 73 items. Very easy. Now, let's go back. What if I want to group based on, so let's see the original data first. So what if I want to group based on products, category, and region? Now we now have more than two columns. So I'll come back to this group option. We have 2 options here. This settings icon here takes you back to that dialog box for group by feature. So instead of clicking on basic, I click on advanced. So advanced gives us the option to add in more grouping, add in more columns to aggregate. So I'll come here. I'm working with region. I also want to work with product category column. So I'll come here, select product category. Then I'll leave it at this. If I had like another one I want to find, let's say I want to do maybe probably still with, let's give this average quantity, AVG QTY type, QTY sold. Then what do I want to find? I want to find the average of what? Quantity sold. Then I'm going to hit OK. So what you're seeing now, you're seeing the region, products category, then you are seeing total quantity sold in each region based on the categories, then the average price, the average quantity sold there. Are we together? Can we hear me?
No, pardon.
Yeah, please, can you take it again?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to go back. Okay, let me cancel this. Cancel the step. So what do? Come here to my group by feature. Select the region I want to work with. Group by feature. Do you understand the one for basic? Do you understand the one for basic?
Yes.
All right, for advanced now, come here. Advanced is just going to give you more. If you have 2 columns or more that you want to work with, that you want to group a database on, that's when you use advanced. For here now, basic is just we are dealing with one single column. So I'll come here and click on advanced. So I said I want to group based on region as well as period category. So I'll come here, I'll add grouping, and I'll change and select period category. So it means I'm grouping my data based on region and period category. Then for this one, what's going to be the new column name? I want to find total quantity sold for each region and period category, as well as the average quantity sold. So for the first one, I'll type in total quantity sold. Then what's the operation? I'm finding that I'm going to use sum. Then what column do you want to sum? Quantity column is what I want to sum. Add an navigation. I'm going to name this average QTY sold. Then I'll come here and I'm saying, okay, I'm working with the function average. Then still that's QTY sold. Then I'm going to hit OK. Are we together? Of course, we have the same results. That's because it's not finding the average for us. So yeah. Are we together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we get that now? All right.
Yes,
So that's that
yes.
on that. Uh okay. I want to teach us data normalization now. But this data I'm seeing here does not really have much information like that. But I'll still work with what I have here. I'll work with what I have here. All right. Okay. So now data normalization has to do with you splitting your data into tables, different tables, creating relationship between them to reduce data redundancy in our data, as well as to improve um, data efficiency. Data analyzation is you splitting. I'm just in a layman's language now. It's just you splitting your data into tables, creating relationship between them, just to reduce data redundancy and to ensure that the data is consistent. Is consistent data efficiency. All right. So now, what do I do here? Let's work with this. Should I work with this or this full sales data? All right. So give me. Okay, I'm trying to pick which to work with. All right, so let's just work with this first one. This first one. Okay. So now for this data, right? Now let's say that someone just is again is a data analyst now. Then her boss comes to meet her, a client comes to meet her and say, it's again, I want to start a supermarket business. I want you to help me create a model for my business. As a data analyst, the first thing you want to ask you'd think of, or you want to ask this client is what what are the entities of this business? Or you want to ask is what are the entities of this business? To run a supermarket, you will need customers, you would need products to sell, you will need suppliers, you would need, if that supermarket is going to be in different locations, the location becomes an entity. So all these are the entities of the business. So when we say entities, entities are what makes up the business, what makes up a system. And these entities are: customer is an entity, region is an entity, or location is an entity, product is an entity, right? These are entities of the business. Then after entity, we have what we call attributes. So attributes are what describes the entity. For example, for the entity customer, what's the attribute of the entity customer would be customer name, customer ID, customer, maybe customer gender, customer address, customer email. Anything about customer is the attribute of the entity customer. Now, for the entity product, you want to see product ID, product category, subcategory, um, products, maybe product itself, product color, product size, anything about products. These are the attributes of the product. Then you want to look at location. Okay, maybe location ID. After location ID, the location itself, postal code or zip code, anything about location, everything that's about location. That's for location, the entity location. So like that, all these are entities with their attributes. So you have to first sit down and think of before I can create a model for that business. Then I have to think of what the entities are. Then what are the attributes? So once you have gotten the entities and the attributes, then you now normalize the table to split them into different tables and try to create a relationship between them. So that's what we're doing now. So here, this table, we don't have much entities here, but we'll work with what we have. You don't have much entities. So this is how we'll split our data into fact tables and dimension tables. So what are fact tables? Fact tables are tables that contains the measures or the numerical data of your tables, the events of your tables. Why dimension tables are tables that they describe the fact table. They speak more about the fact table. So let's see here now. All right. So I'm going to try to delete some data here so that we'll not have too many things on this slide. All right. You know what? Let me delete this. Oops, I can't delete this one. Let me delete all these ones here. So how do I delete? Press my shift button straight down. All right, click, and I'm going to delete it. Good. So we really have this that we're working with. So I have this one now. So let's split. This first, what's the first entity that you notice? What's the first entity of this table? Are we together? Can we hear me, please?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
ma'am. We can. Yes, ma'am.
What's the first entity
Yes,
of this
ma'am.
table? What's the first entity we can pick from this table?
Customer name.
The customer.
Customer.
Order.
Yes,
Custom.
customer. Yeah, yeah, customer. Order, that's like a transaction. So we have customer name, right? Customer name. So it means we have the entity customer. But we only have one thing talking about customer, which is customer name. Okay. The next one we have what? Region, right? We
Region.
have region. So
Yeah.
region is an entity here. Then we have product category, right?
Product
Product category
category.
is an entity, that's product category and product name. Then we have the quantity, all these are the numerical data. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, this data does not have too much information I would have used to show you. But in our project next week, you would see how we would practicalize these things, how we split the data. You'd see it. But I'm just going to, try to work with this one. So just follow me closely. I would have, if I'd known, I'll just use it. Look for a data, and I would have explained this perfectly. But let's work with this one. So now look at this. I'm dealing with the entity customer. Now, the first rule of data normalization, like I mentioned earlier, states that every values or attribute must have its own, must have its own column, which we did for unpivoting and pivoting the other time I showed us. And the second rule is that any column describing another column in a table must not be in that same table. But in this case now, this is just customer name. I didn't mean there's customer ID, customer gender would have, but I can still split it anyways. So let's come here. Let's come here. I'll come here, right click, and I'm going to duplicate this table. I'll click on duplicate. I'm just trying to work with this data actually. But you get it properly when we are looking at our project in our next class. So I'll click on this. I'll come here. I'm going to delete this and name this dim customer because I wanted to hold records of customers alone. Record of customer, dim customer. So we have this. Now come into my home tab. Here in my manage columns group, I'll click on the choose columns. Choose column option. So let's choose columns. So the only column that I want to choose here is just the customer name. That's the only thing talking about customer. The only thing talking about customer. So I'm going to hit OK. So we have this customer. It's not going to make sense for me to even use this. Reason is because don't forget that in our record we can have two customers bearing the same name, right? We can have two customers bearing the same name. So I'm not going to let me not use this. Let me not use this. This is not going to work with this particular data. So let's see if I have a better data to explain this. I don't want to risk it. So just give me 1 minute. Let me see. All right. Let me just find a better data to explain this. Oops, okay. Uh okay, so I can't find. Can we hear me please? Sorry. Can we hear me?
Blessings.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm saying
Thank you. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm
I
listening
I
to you.
have,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can. I'm saying I have the famous superstore data. I don't know if I can share it with you.
Okay, okay.
Mm.
Even if you share with me now, I can't. There's no how I can get the data now because my WhatsApp is not connected to this system,
Okay, it's
right?
fine.
Yeah. So you know what? Now we'll look at this data analysis part. We'll look at it in our next class. How it would show us data modeling. So let's just can we see my screen, please? I'm showing my screen. Can we see it? So can we see my
Yes.
screen, please? So I don't want to risk explaining with this. I don't want to risk explaining with this. So let's just go on. Let's go on to Power BI and look at DAX. Then in our next class, when we start our project, I would show you. I have an actual data set to explain that very well. I don't want to, so you will not get confused. So please just bear with me. In our next class, we'll look at data analysis properly. All right, so let's just go on. Let's go on to our Power BI front end. So I'll come here and close and apply this. Okay. All right, so let's just work with this one now. Okay, so I'll quickly look at some DAX function. Then wherever we stop, I would have loved to explain data management today so that it's very, very easy for us to work with when we're looking at our projects. But I don't have the data to work with on my system here. So,
Sorry, Madam Blessing. Did you
all
open
right,
a
ma'am.
new
You can't
a
see my
new
screen, right?
I can see it. I just want to confirm because I wasn't working on my laptop yesterday. So I'm asking if you open a new workbook again. I don't know the right word to use. A blank.
No, 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 no. It's still that data, like the same. Did you do it on your system, like in your last
No, I
class?
didn't. I was not with. I tried this evening, but I think I have to go back to yesterday's record to get how you navigated it.
Did you save it? Did you save your work?
No, I've not done anything on my own. My laptop was done yesterday. So I tried doing something today just about this lab. I had to pause so I could listen attentively to this. So I just wondering how you open this again, like this page I'm seeing. That was what I was trying to confirm. But don't worry, go on. I think I will sort it. Can you hear me?
Can we hear me, please? Can we hear
Yeah, I can
me?
hear you
Yes,
now.
ma'am. Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear
okay,
you.
okay. Yeah, so I was sorry. So again, I think my network dropped me at some point. I was saying that if you did you save the file? If you saved the file, then all you have to do is just click on the PBIS file, wherever you saved it to be, and it will open. Then you see everything you've done. That's if you saved it. If you did not save it, that's gone. So, but if you saved, you should
Okay.
see. Yeah. So let's just continue. Okay. Um. All right. So let's quickly look at some DAX function. So who can tell me what DAX is? Have you worked with DAX? What do you think DAX is? I've been talking since the morning, so what's DAX? Have you worked with it before? What do you use it for? What are common examples of DAX functions? So who's going first? I'm listening.
Okay, I think DAX means data analytics expression.
Now, analysis, not analytics.
And okay,
Analysis. Yes. Thank you.
okay, thank you for that.
Okay. So is that like that's it, right? That's what it means data analysis expression.
Okay, I think it's similar to the formulas that we have in Excel, like our normal Excels, but it's
Yes,
just
some.
it's a bit more powerful. Yeah, some counts,
Mm-hmm.
ifs, and some other advanced ones that we do not have,
Okay.
or that might really take us maybe more time to get in details.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to look at some simple DAX functions. DAX functions are functions in Excel that used to create calculations, right? And DAX can be used to do two things: create measures and create calculated columns. So what are measures? Measures are, you know, they are values you create using DAX functions. Either you just most of the time the result are always numbers, numericals. So either you perform some aggregations with it, you use sum, average, mean, max, count, all those things. Why calculated columns are columns that you create based on existing data in a table using DAX. So I'll come here. Let's look at this data in our model, in our table view. So you can see the data here in table view. So don't forget, you can also do some little data transformation in your table view here. So select this, right? And I'll come here and I'll say, okay, I don't want long data,
I
I want
can't
short.
see your screen. I don't know if I'm the only one.
You can't see my screen.
I can still see your screen. I guess probably maybe it's your network.
Yeah, I
Let
think
me
it's
let me
your
Okay.
network.
let me stop
Yeah, we
sharing and
can see
share
your
again.
screen.
Let me stop sharing and share again, please. So I'm going to share entire screen. Can we see my screen now? Can we see it now?
Yes. It's
All
coming
right.
up.
Yes,
Not
yes.
yet.
My God, it seems to humble you because
It's up.
you need strong data, strong connection to work with teams. All right. Can we see my screen now, everybody?
I can
Yes.
see
Yes,
it
ma'am.
now.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So now this is the table here. We are viewing it on the table view. So I'm going to just select this column. I don't want it to, it's showing long date. I don't want long date. So I'll select it and I'll come here to I'll select short date. And you can see this here. Short date. So order ID, customer name, region, category, So I didn't mean let's say this region now is country, showing country or province or county. You know, when you come to this part, data of category currently is uncategorized. So you can see when you come here now, you see different option. Yeah, there's region here. So you can select region. Now we have address. So I didn't mean we have address column. You set it as address. So that is you telling Power BI that this is an address. So you know it has to be location. If a place, a city, a county, state or province, postal code, country or region, or select region now for this one. If it's a continent, select continent. If it's a latitude or longitude column, select it like that. And sometimes you can have data that contains web URL or image URL, select it anyone. And if it's barcode to select it. So I'm going with country region. So I'm telling Power BI this is a region. And what you see on the right hand side, they're saying that that's place the icon for map on that beside that particular column. So we have this. Then we have product category, we have product name, we have quantity, we have unit price, and so I think I'm okay with this. So now let's go back to our reports, our report view. Good. So I was saying something about measures and calculated column. So for measures, we have two types of measures. There's implicit measures and we have explicit measures. So what does it mean by implicit measures? Implicit measures are measures that you create or calculate by just, clicking and dragging to the field and selecting the measure. For example, we have total sales and unit price column, right? And quantity column as well. So let's say I want to find total revenue, or let's say total sales. We have total sales. I want you to combine all the sales together to give me a revenue. So if I check this box for total sales, I didn't even select any visual yet. It just picked one for me, random one. It picked column. So it picked the table. Let me delete this. Delete or remove it. Yeah. So I'm going to select a card visual. Card visual often use most of the time to just represent your measures or your metrics. I'll select card visual. This is my card visual. So I'll check the box for total sales. And I have it here. So where I just seen here is first total sales. So I'm going to click on the drop down button beside this. Then um we have different options here. So if it's showing us this first total, so that means the data type is not correct. Let's go back. Let's go back. So now, what can you see that is the problem here? Looking at the data type, what's the problem? Data type.
I think he's seeing it as a test.
Yes, not as number. That's why it was showing first sales value. So I have to change it. Come here. So that means sometimes when you bring in your data into Power Query from into Power BI from Power Query, and it's still showing you a wrong format, you can quickly do some changes to the format here. So for quantity, I'll come here and say, okay, it's whole number. So I'll select whole number. Yes, I want to change the data type. Then for unit price, as well as for total sales, so unit price, come here, select whole number. Yes. Total sales, whole number. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go back.
Okay, what of other ID?
Okay. So other ID showing whole number. For that, I can decide to change it. I like leaving my ID columns because I'm not doing anything with the ID. I like leaving them as text, but let's leave it as whole number here. Customer is text, region is text as well, product category is text too. Others are text, so fine. So let's go back to so let me go back, clear this. Now if I select total sales, so what do you see here? Sum of sales, right? Look on this drop down button. We have different um 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 functions you can use. There's average, minimum, maximum. Do you want to count distinct value, count standard deviation, variance, and median? You can see we have this. So this value you are seeing here, this is the total sales for every of the things on that transaction table. This is total sales. This measure is called implicit measure because I didn't create it using a DAX function. It is called implicit. So anytime you create a measure by just dragging or clicking in the field and selecting the function to work with, whatever result you get is called an implicit measure. So what then is an explicit measure? Explicit measure is that measure you calculate using DAX function. So we have different type of DAX function. If you remember in our last class, we have some mathematics and stat function where you see sum, average, count. Now I wish I'm using my other laptop now that I've shown you the file. Um we have sum, average, minimum, maximum, count. These are mathematical DAX functions. Then for dates, we have date, month, year, quarter. All these are time. These are date time function. Then we have some table functions. There are a lot of DAX functions. So a lot of them, lots. I really wish I'm using my other laptop. A lot of them. So now, how do I create this get the same result using a DAX function? All I have to do is, I don't like calculating or adding my DAX measures to my table. I like creating a separate table that will hold all my key measures. So how do I do that? I would just come here to my, you see in my home tab, come here to enter data, click on enter data. So once I click on enter data, this create table dialog pops up, pops up and like, okay, what do you want to do? So I'll come here and say, okay, let's name this key measures. So I want to create a table that will hold all my measures. So I'll hit load to load it in directly into Power BI. So that would help me create that now. Yeah, so we have these key measures. So I want to create a measure called revenue. So I'll right click, and either you right click, select this table here, right click, and click on new measure. Or once you select it, at the top here, you would see new measure in the calculations group. You see new measure. So anyone you want to do. So you can either click and select new measure, or right click and select new measure, whichever one you want to do. So I'll work with this one. Click on new measure. So I've clicked on new measure. So I'll come here. The formula bar here. Now this is where you want to use your DAX function to calculate total revenue. So I'll come here. What's the name? I'll say revenue. Let's give this either revenue. Let's do the total revenue. Total revenue. Good. So what do you want to do? I want to sum all your total sales. So I'll type sum. Now if there's one beautiful thing about Power BI as well, when you type in anything, it will also bring out the function for you. So select this and they tell you what that function is used for and the argument that would be in that function. So you can see it says add all the number in a column and it only takes one argument, which is the column you want to sum. So okay. So what column do you want to sum? I want to sum the total sales column. So I'll type in total sales. So the moment I type in T, any column that has the name T would pop up and you have to select the one you want to work with. So you can see I'm summing total sales that is coming from this Power BI practice sales month one. So I'll double click on this. No, don't double click, click on it. One click. This is not Excel. One click. Then I'll close my parenthesis. One click, close parenthesis, and hit enter. So the moment I hit enter, we have a new this thing here, a new measure here called revenue. Now, anytime you create measures in Power BI, you can't see, if I come here to my table view now, I can see this one, this table, I can see this table. If I click on this one, I won't see anything other than column one. But select this, I'll not see anything. Nothing would show, nothing. So you can't see measures. The only way you can see measures is if you add measures to visuals. So I'm going to select another card visual. Then I'll add in this revenue that I just calculated using DAX. And you can see. Now we have the same thing. The only difference between these two is that one is called implicit measure, the other is called explicit measure. Why? Implicit is the one that you didn't create with DAX. You just clicked and dragged, then selected the function to work with. Explicit is the one where you type in DAX, use DAX to calculate that particular measure. Are we together? So note that difference between implicit and explicit measure. Explicit measures are measures you calculate using DAX. Implicit are measures you calculate without DAX. You only drag and click and select the measure you want to work with, the function you want to work with, I mean. So note that you might be asked in the interview, what is the difference between implicit and explicit measure? So note that. So this is it. We have this. Some are wondering, if I can just click, drag and click and select the function I want to work with, what's the point of using DAX to calculate? So one of the importance of creating measures using DAX is the fact that it is reusable. Whatever function, whatever measure you calculate using DAX can be referenced at every point in time. Can be referenced. So you would see the reason very soon. So now that's what we're looking at. Let me come here to my text box. So hold on. Are we together? Can we still hear me? Can we still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right. So let me
can
let
you?
me start the text box. So we looked at sum already now. So look at sum, average, look at max. Yeah, max, look at mean, we'll look at sum, max, mean, look at count. Then yeah, for now, let's look at these ones for now. All right. So we looked at sum to sum up, to find total revenue. All right. So now what about average? So let's say I want to find average quantity sold. I want to find average quantity sold. So I'll come here to let me just delete this one. I don't need this column one. So I'll delete it. How do I delete? Select it here. Once I select it here, then I'll come here to my um option for delete from model and delete it from model. So yeah, delete from model. So that's deleted. So you only have this. So this only hold all our measures. So now I'll come here, right click, and I'll come here to new measure. I want to find average quantity sold. So I'll come here and I'll say, okay, what do you want to find? What's the title of the measure you want to calculate? Average PTY or average quantity sold. So what function would I use? What DAX function? I'm going to use the function average. So I'll come here and say AV, so you can see average. Select that. So it's going to ask you, you want to find the average of something. What do you want to find the average of? Quantity. So Q, when I type in Q, it brought out the column name, telling us the table is coming from. So select this and I'll close my parenthesis and I'm going to hit enter. That would calculate the average quantity for us. And you can't see it just like that. You have to put it in measure. So it's very important that anytime you calculate a measure, immediately add it to a visual so that you can see if it's well calculated or not. So I'm going to, let me add in this new card visual here. This new card visual allows us to, it allows more than one measures to be added to that card. So select this average quantity sold. As you can see, this is the average quantity sold for all the goods so far. Good. So the next one is let's look at max and min. So let's say I want to find maximum price and minimum price. So how do I do that? Come here to new key measures. Just select this one, right click on new measure. I want to find maximum price. So I'll come here and say max price is the title of my measure. So what do you want to do? I'm going to use the function max, max. So max is that function that you use to find the maximum of any value you want to find in any column. So I select this. It only takes one argument, which is either the column name or, okay, no, just no one again. Add in, if you're typing in scalar, by scalar it means if you want to type in the values directly, 100, 200, 100, 200, 300, 400, so you can find the maximum value. That's what scalar is. But I didn't with the column here. So I'll just type in the column name. I'm dealing with unit price, unit price. So you can see it here. Select this, close parenthesis. So I'm saying I want you to help me to find the maximum price in the unit price column. Then I'm going to hit enter. And we have max price. So I'll add this max price to this particular new card visual. I'll select it. And you can see it here. This is the max price. So the max price is now 140. So what about minimum price? Right click on this, right click, select new measure. I want to find minimum price. So I'll come here, minimum, mean price, mean price. So with mean price, I'll come here and I say, okay, I want to find mean price. What function will I use? I'm using the function mean. So select mean, select this one. What's the column you want to work with? I want to work with the unit price column. So I'll type in unit price, then I'll close my parenthesis. As you can see, then I'm going to hit enter like this. Then once I hit enter, I'll just add in this minimum price. So you can see maximum price is 940, minimum price is 93 in that column for unit price. This is all these they are seeing here are called measures. These are called measures. They are called measures. All right. So the next thing we'll look at, let's look at count. So let's say, for example, I want to count, let me look at this table. Let's say I want to count the category of product that we have, category of product. So I'll come here, or let's count orders instead. Let's count orders. So right click, come here to new measure, and let's say we want to find total orders. So I'll come here. What do you want to count? Total orders. So count. I'm using the function count. So what do you want to count? I'll count the order ID. Order ID. Close parenthesis. And I'm going to hit enter. This should tell us the number of orders that we have. I'll also add it to this visual, this card visual here. Add. So you're not seeing it now. But let's say I want to be seeing this, I want to be seeing everything straight, because no matter how I drag, it just only show three. I want it to show everything. So I'll come here with this new card that I see selected. Come here to my format your visual, and I want the layout out. Currently it's just maximum card is 3, so I'll increase it to, like, let's do 10. Yeah, so we have this. I can see it everything at one glance at a go. So yeah, so we have these total orders. Now let's say I want to count the total product category that we have. I want to know, oh, what is the total category of product that we have that we've been dealing with in this company. So I'll come here, right click, new measure. Now there's something called distinct counts, but let's just count and I will show you distinct counts. So you see the difference between both and you know when to use them. So I'm going to come here and say total product category, product cat, like this. All right, so guys, give me just 1 minute. I want to quickly plug in my system. Can we hear me, please? Just 1 minute. 1 minute,
All
please.
right.
All right, so can we hear me, please? Okay,
Yes, but
thank you. All right, so product category, and I'm saying, okay, let's count. Count. So what do you want to count? I want to count product category. So I'll type in product category. Let's do product category. Then I'll close parentheses. We'll not have, it's going to be giving us the same result as total orders. Let me hit enter and add it in. Product category to this table, to this visual, I mean. I saying 30. So what count does is count would count values including the duplicate. But distinct count would only count unique values. So now this is very wrong, because this is very, very wrong, because this is not giving us the accurate results, accurate number of category of products. So with the help of distinct count, I can get the accurate number of products, that category of product that we're dealing with in the company. So I'll come here, right click, and I'll say, okay, new measure. And what I want to find is, I want to find, you know, number of products category, and I'm going to use distinct count. Distinct count. So distinct count. Distinct count will count the unique number of distinct values in a column. I want to count the product category. Select this, close parenthesis, and hit enter. So if we add in this result now to this table, so what do you see? We have just 3. Now compare. Imagine the difference between 3 and 30. We only have just 3 categories of products. And it's furniture, clothing, and I think, is it electronics? I can't remember. That's the only product category that we're dealing with in this data. That's clothing, furniture, and electronics. Exactly, just 3. But because we use count without using distinct with it, it counted everything, including the number of times they appeared. That's why you're seeing 30 here. Are we together? So that's that for this one. So now we're going to look at iterative functions. So what are iterative functions? All these ones are simple maths functions to just sum, average, mean, and max. So iterative functions. What are iterative functions? These are functions that allows you to perform row by row evaluation of your data. They allow you to perform row by row evaluation on your data, calculating your measures, doing a row by row evaluation on your data. So in this, we're going to be looking at, it has max x. So let's look at this. There's sum x. Anytime you see any function with sum x, with the x at the back, sum x, average x, sum x, average x, max x, mean x. So let's work with this one. Yeah, let's work with this one. So anytime you see a data with a function with this x at the back, that is an iterative function. Some call it iterative, some call it iterative. Anyone you want to call it, whichever one you want to call it. So these are iterative functions, like I call them. They are functions that use to perform calculations in your data. They do row by row evaluation of your data. For example, let's go back to this table now. So let's assume that we don't have a column for we don't this column is not here, right? And you want to count, you want to count, sorry, not count, you want to find the revenue by multiplying quantity and unit price together. Or let's say you want to find total revenue and there's no column for you to sum this total sales to get revenue. How do I, without having to create the column for revenue here, how do I get total price? By just combining these two together and summing them up. So I'll come here. I want to find total revenue without having to create a revenue column. We know we have it there, but let's assume we don't have it there. Select new measure. Then I'll come here. I'll come here and I'll say let's do total revenue too. So I'll come here and I'll use the function sum x. So the first argument here is the table. Bro, you want to perform calculation. What table do you want to work with? I'm working with Power BI practice sales month one, comma. The second argument is the expression. So what do you want to do? I want to multiply quantity with unit price. So I'll type in quantity, shift 8 for multiplication, then unit price. Then I'll close parentheses. So nothing hard here. The first argument was the table you want to work with. Second argument is just saying, okay, what is the expression? I want to multiply quantity by price. So what will this do? What it will do is it's going to perform a row by row evaluation by multiplying every quantity first with unit price. Then once it's done multiplying them, it will now sum up the result. It is that particular result is going to give us as answer. It's not going to show us how it's multiplying quantity by price together. No, it would only give us the final result after it has summed it up. Now I'm going to hit enter. So once I hit enter, I have total revenue. If I add it in now to this, let me add it here. We'll have the same result as well. Total revenue. You see the same thing as other ones. But now we use an iterative function to get this. So same thing, if I'm looking at, if I say, okay, if we use average x2, average x will find, okay, find the average revenue for me. The same thing. All I have to do, let me just, what I should do now is just come here for revenue 2. I'm going to just copy the formula, Control C. I don't want to do it again. Control C, then come here to measure, right click, new measure. I'll delete this, Control V. Then I'll change this from total revenue to average revenue. Right? I want to find average revenue. So instead of sum X, I'm going to change it to just average X. Average X. This is average X. Now, average X. So what it will do is perform a value evaluation by multiplying quantity with price. Then once it's done with that, it will help us find the average. It is that average result it's going to return for us. So I'm going to hit enter. So when I hit enter, now I can add that result here. I'll check this box and you can see this is the average revenue. Are we together? Can we hear me? So you can
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, thank you. So you can just practice our remarks and mean.
Yes.
So that's that. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So now let's look at some date functions. To look at date function, we look at one if function, one example, one if function. Then yeah. So let's go. So we're going to look at calculated columns. Now we're looking at measures. So let's calculated columns. I said calculated columns are columns you create, yeah, based on the existing table that you have using DAX functions. So for example, so let's say that, let me start with if. Now let's say that what we did in the back end, right? This is not the data we used. Let's say that we want to categorize this quantity into single and multiple items, just single and multiple items. For those that have just one quantity of product, that is single item, then those that have more than one multiple item, that's what I want to do here. So I want to add a new column to this table here. So I'll click on new column. So once I click on new column, this pops up. Then I'll come here. So what's the column name? I'm going to give this QTY type. QTY type is the column name, QTY type. Okay, so what do you want to do? I'm going to use the function if. If. Okay, if. So what do you want? The first argument is logical test. Then we have result if true, then results if false. If what? If the quantity that is coming from this sales month table, if it is equal to 1, comma, so what should happen is equals to 1. If it's equal to 1, categorize it to be single item. Single item. Comma. Now, result if false. That is, if condition is not met, what should it return? Return multiple item. Multiple item. Are we together? So now what I'm saying here is for every quantity that is equal to 1, you can see that when I wanted to type number, I typed it directly. When I was typing text, I had to wrap it around double quotation mark. So that's how it is. If I type in a number in a function, in a DAX formula, type it in just like that. But typing in text, you have to wrap it around double quotation mark. So I have this like this, and I'm going to hit enter. So what I'm saying is, for every quantity that's equal to 1, categorize them as single item, otherwise categorize as multiple item. So I'm going to hit enter. And once I hit enter, sorry, you can see that we have a new column here called quantity type. And when you check this table here, can you see that you are seeing this symbol f of x, this fx beside it? Anytime you see fx beside a particular column, just that column is a calculated column. It's a column you created using DAX. If you see this calculated icon, beside your columns, it shows that's a measure that you calculated using DAX. Are we together? Can we hear me? Are we together?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But please, ma'am, I have
Oh,
a
Yes,
question.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
all right. All right,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So is it like you cannot use nested if in that like in Power BI, more
You
like
can
the
use
way
nested if. You can.
Excel?
You can actually. You can. Yeah, you can use
Okay.
nested if. You can. If I want, you can actually. If you want to have, okay, you can actually. You can use it. You can. Don't worry. Our the project we have in next week, you'd see how we would work with nested if, because there's a particular thing you work on that require you usually using nested. But me in particular, I love using switch function instead of nested if. Instead of using if instead of if, I prefer using switch. But we'll look at it in our next class. Don't worry. So that's for this is called a calculated column. So you look at the if, how to use the if function to achieve this. So let's look at date and time. So after we look at date and time, we'll look at date and time. We're going to look at look at some text functions. Then wherever we stop, our time is almost up. So let's quickly look at our date functions. Date functions. So what if I want to, let's say I want to extract the year from this table, the year, the month name from this table now, just add it in. So how do I add this column? Come here and click on new column. So let's click on new column. So let's say I want to first extract the year. To extract year, you're going to use year. To extract year, you use the year function. So I'll come here and type in year. Select year. So the first argument is, okay, what column do you want to work with? I want to work with the date. And where is this date coming from? Date is coming from Power BI month sales table. Close parentheses, hit enter. We have this. So you can see here. If I want to bring in, let's say I want to bring in month, select new column again at the top here. Select new column. So waiting for it. All right, select new column. So once I select new column, I'll come here. So what's the column you want to bring in? Oh, I want month. Let me do month number, because we use the function month. So I'll use month. Month. This function month will only return the number of the month. So what do you want to work with? I want to work with the dates that is coming from the Power BI file. That's Power BI practice sales file. Select this, close parenthesis, and hit enter. And you see it return month number. But what if I want to return month name? Right? This function months will not help us do that. We only have to use the function format to achieve this. And format is a text function actually. So how do I do it? Come here, click on new column, and I'm going to select, I'm going to give it the name. Let's do month name. So I'll come here, month name, I'll come here and I'll type in format, not format, like this. Then what do you want to format? The first argument for format is the value. So what do you want to work with? I want to work with the date table coming from this Power BI, comma. So what's the next one is the format. What format do you want to give to it? So if you want full name, you type in 4M like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Full name of the month. 4M like this. Now hit enter. And this will return the month's name in full. But we don't want full name, we want first three. That's first three letters of the month. Just put 3M like this, hit enter. It return first three. So I think I'll go with the full name because I want to show you how to use the left and right function. So I'll put M here and I'll hit enter. So you can see that that's for month. If you want to return quarter, you would see return quarter, come here. There are lots to do next, don't worry. So I'll come here and type in quarter. Then I can now put the function quarter like this. Then what do you want to work with? I want to work with the dates table coming from Power BI dates, close parenthesis, and I'm going to hit enter. It return quarter. But what if I don't want the quarter to be like that? I want to show Q1, Q2, like that. I'm also going to use format to do that. So I'll come here, click on new column. Again, I'll change this. Let's change it to quarter ID, and I'm going to use the function called format, open parenthesis. What's the value? I'm dealing with the dates column, comma. So what's the format? Double quotation mark, then this forward slash, and I'll type in QQ like this, close parenthesis. Then I'm going to hit enter. And what you see now, you can see it has changed from just ordinary. So this makes more sense. Don't worry, you'd see the importance of these things that we're doing when we start our project in the next class. Yeah, so that's that. And let's look at left and right function. Left, right function and len. Then we'll call it a day and we'll continue in our next class. So left, right, and len function. You know, left function, what does it do? What does the left function do? Anybody? What does right function do? What does len function do? We did Excel. Ma?
So left function extract the number of characters that you want from the left from the first character of the word. Let me just put it that way.
Okay, what about right?
So it extracts from the end. It counts from the end.
On the right hand side. What about len? Len or length?
When is the length of the characters?
It counts the names. Yeah, thank you very much. So let's go back quickly. Let's quickly do that. So come here. So let's say I want to return first three letters from this month name. That is, I want to extract first three letters. I click on new column. Right, new column. We have new column. So come here. I would say okay. Let's call it month short. Month short. So I call it month short, and I'm going to use the function left. So you can see the function left here. So it's just like Excel, just a little bit advanced than Excel. So we have left, then it asks for the arguments you want to work with, the column you want to work with, I mean. Then I want to work with the month name column. So month name column, yeah, comma. What's the number of characters you want to take? I want to return 3. I'll close parentheses and I'm going to hit enter. So you can see left returns, it's a certain left on the left hand side. If you do right, so you can try that out. If you do right, it will return right. If you do len will count the number of characters you have. But come here and click on new column, and I want to count the length of the values that we have, length of characters in the month's name column. So I'll come as length of month. Let's do it that way. Length of month. So I'll come here and I'm going to use a function called len. Len function only count the number of characters you have. It only takes one argument. So I say, okay, I'm dealing with month's name, close parenthesis, and I'll hit enter. So this is just count number of the lengths that you have. Then last one is proper upper. So if let's assume you didn't change the cases of your data in Power Query and you're already in Power BI front end, I want to quickly do that. How do you change the case? How do you change the case? Click on new column. So let's say I want to capitalize this month's name now. Capitalize the month now. I'll come here and I'll give it, let's do capitalize month's name. And I'll come here. I use the function upper. Upper would make everything to be in uppercase as a capital letter. Open parenthesis. Then what's takes one argument, the text you want to capitalize, month's name. And we have this. So close parenthesis, then hit enter. And you can see everything is going to be in capital letter. If you want it to be in small letter, use lower. The lower function is used to change cases to be in lower letter. So that's we have a lot of them. We couldn't do calculate today. We'll do it in our next class. There's calculate. There's different. There's time. We have time intelligence functions. We'll look at them in our next class. A lot of them. So you don't have to put all these formulas, all these functions in your head. There's a site called DAX Guide. So DAX Guide is, though I don't really use it, but it's a very good site to work with. Said we are new to this. So DAX Guide. So let me see. Yeah, DAX Guide. So DAX Guide has a lot of DAX functions there on DAX Guide that you can work with. Lot of them. Lot of DAX functions you can work with here on DAX Guide. So you can see there's one thing about this DAX Guide site is that you can check out any DAX function. It will tell you the meaning, the syntax, it will give you the results, it will give you practical example of how you can use it. And to give you a practical example of how you can use it, then you see how it works. So you don't have to put all those because we have a lot of them. It's too much. So you can't put it in your head. But this is the site that can help you if you need help on okay, what do I need to do? What kind of DAX function will I use? It would help you do that. So yeah, in our next class, we'll look at all this. But I'll give you an assignment after this class. Maybe I'll drop it tomorrow, either today or tomorrow. So you see, no, you just do it and we'll look at it together in our class next week. All right. So in 3 minutes, can I hear from us? So what's that thing that stood out for you into this class? Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go for this is Zainab.
Okay. All right, Zainab.
It's really insightful, honestly, because I've not really dealt with Power BI before, but I could say that it's like an advanced version of Excel. So in as much as you know the basics in Excel, then you are good to go with Power BI. So it's just like Excel is just the foundation of the other software tools.
Yeah, exactly. Who else is going next? Yeah, thank you, Zainab. Who else is going next? I want to hear from a guy, a brother. Where are the brothers? There's David Pascal, there's David, there's Abdullah,
Hello,
there's
good evening.
Hi, good evening, David. Finally, you've spoken. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to say something?
Yes, this especially what you taught in inner join, left join, and like that.
Yeah.
I have actually been struggling with it though, even in
Okay.
SQL. So, but
Okay.
from your explanation now, I finally got to really understand what it was all about.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's all. You said you're going to give us an assignment today now.
Of course, yes, I would. I would do that. I would.
So I will be waiting for that.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, Adekunle, I want to hear from you. Richard, unmute yourself. I've not heard his voice. Richard, can Richard hear me? Are you shy? Adekunle, unmute yourself and say something.
Yeah, I can
Obinna,
hear you.
yes. Okay, Richard, yes. This morning I've been shouting Richard, unmute yourself. So, Richard, can I hear from you?
Okay, I think
What stood out for you in this
learning more,
class?
actually learning more about the type of measures that we have, the difference between implicit and explicit measure, and then also the date functions, and then using the sum x. I think I've forgotten the name we called it. The iterative something like that, functions like that.
Iterative
So
functions. Iterative functions.
okay, thank you. So it's made it more
All right.
clear on either we can get it done instead of just going step by step, and then we can skip some step and still get to the result. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Adekunle Gold. Or is it purple now or silver? Can we hear from you?
Okay, it's diamond.
What do
Okay,
you say?
I said it's diamond, not
Adekunle
Oh,
gold.
Silva.
Adekunle Diamond. Amazing. Okay.
Diamond.
All
All
right.
right. I think a lot. There was actually one thing I'm trying to remember now before we actually come to DAX. I think, well, I don't know, it actually escaped my mind. But I think everything, yeah, the class has actually been, yeah, it has been amazing. And just like the last speaker said now, then I said that some X, all those X1, the way you actually explain it really uh, breaks it down for me, and then I really understand it.
All right. Thank you very much. Obinna. Let me hear from you. So Obinna, I can Obinna hear me? Hi, Obinna, can you hear me? If you are saying something, you're muted. Yeah, the one
Yes,
with see. Yeah, this
yes,
is
I can
six
hear
eight
you.
oh six. All right. Can we hear from you?
Um, yeah, it's been a very informative class. Um,
Okay.
I'll probably have to go over it again because some things are just flying in from one ear, passing out from the other one. So I'll just go over it. I'll watch the recording, go over it again, take my time and then digest it. And yeah, but it's
All
been
right.
quite informative.
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's fine. All right, it's fine. All right, so thank you so much, guys. It's okay. Can you hear me? And it's okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So what's that for you in this class? What's that for you?
I'm actually trying to remember the word. It was when you made two different. Is it mage? I
Med
don't know if
queries? No, med
yes,
queries.
mage queries and the other. It's for Excel. I see it as how we built a sys tracker. So that's one thing that
Okay.
also stood out for me. So while we were doing that, I was just trying to relate it with working with Excel, building sales tracker,
Okay.
merging different sheets into one.
Okay.
So that for me.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you very much. I want to thank you so much for joining in today, guys. And I also want to say sorry because like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know I was talking about other systems that are very easy to explain data normalization. But because I wasn't working with that system and you know, I'm sorry about that. So we'll continue and I'll do well to explain everything in details in our next class. Yeah, Adenike, you want to say something? Yeah, you can see
Yes,
you can unmute
okay.
yourself.
Thank you for
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much for tonight. I want to say because I need to listen and watch this recording over and over again for some things to be clear. I don't know if we can reach out to you during the week
Of course
in
you
case
can.
we have
Why
any.
not? You can reach out to me. No problem. The DM is open. You can.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. So AA. Adekunle, who is that? Somebody raised Adekunle Purple. No, Adekunle Diamond, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My question is, I think in one of the first class I joined, not now, before I think my first Excel class, then we taught
Okay.
something on part in Excel, like primarily when you have tons of data and then Excel can't actually handle it, you can take it. But I didn't really understand the concept then. But now I'm seeing DAX, and I think what we were taught then was actually somehow similar to that. So I want to know if there's actually if they are the same or if they are maybe they are different, like the DAX here and then the DAX bar.
I think you
So
asked me this same question in our last class. I think I told you it's
no,
exactly the same thing.
I asked is Power Query in Excel and Power Query in Power BI. Yeah,
Okay,
that was
okay. Yeah, so the same DAX used in Excel is exactly the same thing. The same DAX used in Power Pivot in Excel is exactly the same DAX you can use in Power BI here too. The same thing. DAX is DAX. It's the functions you use to create calculations. So DAX is DAX. Do you understand? It's the
yeah,
same
I
thing.
understand. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's the same thing. All right, all right. So any other question? Anybody? Anybody? Any question? So in absence of no question, thank you so much for joining in today. Yeah, thank you for giving yourself to learning. Oluwadamilola Adebowale. All right, your hand is up. You can want me to answer something. I'm listening. Yeah, okay, Damilola, I can hear you. If you are saying something, we can't hear you. Okay, all right. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in today. Right, thank you for giving yourself to learning, and let's do well to. I will send an assignment to Rosetta today or tomorrow, so we can do it pending time that would come back for our class next weekend. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much. That's all. Let's have a wonderful night rest. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so thank you,
Good
Praise.
night.